Hey, what be happening YouTube? This is your favorite modding experts, EX7 Mods, and today I finally make the thing that I kept talking about forever, a tutorial! Sorry, I try to get overexcited with myself, but anyway, today we are going to be covering basic case window cutting and some pointers on taking it apart, but I'm gonna try to blow through this pretty quickly because I don't want to make this video too long, and I suppose that's what editing software is for. But nonetheless, let's get started. First of all, you need a project. When you're doing something and you're not exactly sure how it comes apart, do yourself a huge favor and look up teardown of Xbox original blah de blah on YouTube, and there are plenty of tutorials on how to properly disassemble it and reassemble it. The basic tools you're gonna need. There's actually a specific set of tools, but I won't get into that because, again, I'm trying to make this as quick as I can. So, let's get started. Remember what I said about basic planning. What I was thinking is doing a window cut. Yeah, let's just keep it simple for now. I've seen people do a window cut here where it kind of shows the tray, and one here to where it does the hard drive, but we'll just do one here for now, and this is going to be our project as I'm making tutorials. So if you're modding an Xbox, good for you. Anyway, first things first, we need to get it apart. I've already peeled the feet. You need I believe it's a T6, but I don't know the exact thingy. I just use an Allen wrench. Even though it's not the appropriate tool, it works. Though don't follow my lead on that. I apologize for the mess too. I was scrambling to get a project done, and I figured since while I'm at it, I might as well go ahead and make my first tutorial. Disassembling these are stupid easy. It's literally just 6 bolts. Kind of helps if you place these out of the way. I need that for later. When you're case modding, we're just gonna do simple window cuts. So set that aside for now because we won't need it till later. There's 2 aspects of it, and obviously you want to figure out where you want to make your outside cut, but when you look on the inside, sometimes there'll be components or something. I mean, this one looks semi-important because I believe it holds the DVD player. It's got these 3 others, so it should be fine as long as you're not rattling the thing. But the point is to look at both sides and figure out exactly the best course of action is. I guess that's why they cut it on this side, because there's more stuff on this side, which doesn't make sense. Oh, okay, that's the center bolt. Alright, sorry, it's been a while. When doing a window cut, obviously you want to plan it out. What I actually recommend using is Scotch tape. For simple window cuts, if you're going to get into more complex, it's better to just, depending on whether you're going to paint, you can just go ahead and mark it, or if you're going to leave it alone like I am, just use a little bit of Scotch tape, which I used to have, but I ran out. But in order to substitute, we're going to use duct tape for now. So, and this is just kind of off the top. Obviously, if you're planning something more complex, you want to definitely take the time in designing it. And the reason I say Scotch tape is because whenever you use the actual cutter, it helps you keep your line straight. So let's go with that. I'm just going to do a simple triangle, but you don't want to get too far when cutting any case, because sometimes you can screw it up. Like if I took it all the way to this edge, I wouldn't have anywhere to put my plexiglass because of the reverse side component would be in the way. Speaking of, I'm going to have to trim these down, but that shouldn't be a problem. Which is again why I stress, look at the inside and the outside. So give it about, I don't know, that much. That should be plenty right there. Now what I've seen people do is follow the curves in the case, and sometimes that can help you do a more wild cut, so to speak, which I think if we do that too close, I don't know, we'll give it a shot. Right now we'll just go triangle. So on this project I want to give it some hard lines. The customer just basically wanted me to do something, and I've been tinkering with this idea for a while, to just make a kind of a super industrial look. Alright, you see here, this is too close right here. So there's two ways we could remedy this. We could put down another piece of tape, which would kind of coincide with this line right here, or we could simply just remove the tape and relocate it, which I think I'm going to do that. There's one of the advantages if you're going to use duct tape, is that it's just pretty reapplicable. So let's do two things here. We'll give it more space, and I don't want to take too much away. Let's do this. Sorry, I'm literally doing this as I go. Okay. It's another thing that's kind of helpful is to, if you do your lines as opposed to these lines, it kind of looks straighter. if that makes any sense at all. Okay. Kind of flatten it out, and that way you can still see your Xbox lines. Man, I still just don't like it. So let's do this. So I'm a visual person. Like, I literally have to see what I'm doing as I'm doing it, otherwise I'm not happy with it. Let's do this. Okay. Let's do this. We are going to use that after all. Let's do this. Okay. Turn this one over just a little bit. Also, when you're doing this, it's kind of a good idea to give yourself a little extra space. That way, if you screw up, you can smooth it out. Just try to keep these two square with each other. Alright. Okay. If you look at it, this one's a little far down, but I'm kind of going for that off-kilter look too. So, I think this will do. If the customer decides he doesn't like it, I can always make another one, because I have like 9 or 10 of these laying around that I've picked up over the years. Alright, anyway, this is what you're going to do for window cut. It's weird because it's straight with this, but if you look at it, it's not straight with that. So let's just make that just a little more straighter. Sorry, this is kind of difficult. There. I like that better. So you can see this curvature comes out, but the line is more straight, which will give it a better look. God, we are almost into that. Alright. Anyway, simple way of doing it. Just tape it out, figure out what you like. If you redo it, repeat until you get a satisfactory idea of what you're getting. Okay, I'll grab my tool here. This is a Dremel, as most of you know. This one actually has adjustable speeds, which comes in handy because of the fact that, depending on how fast you want to do it, which if you do it too fast, you'll burn the plastic, but I'll show you a trick that I learned to get around that. Need any sign. Dremel tools. course I would have my other one missing. There's two ways you can do it. For this one, I think I may go with a disc cutter because it makes a straight line when you're doing it. But normally what you can do is get a cutter that kind of looks like this. It's a little ball on the end of a thing, and you can kind of make your grooves, and that kind of helps you if you groove it just right. It helps you from basically screwing up, which I did that for a while, and it takes considerable more time, but it doesn't come out bad, especially if you really want to take your time and groove a little bit at a time. Where the hell is that other one? Should have cleaned up before I did all this. Ah, here it is. This is more commonly just a multi-purpose cutter. You can use it on wood, plastic. Can't use it on steel. You can use it on other materials though. And this one's a bit more tricky, but what I find works best if you counterclockwise it in with the thing spinning towards the inside. If any plastic melts, it'll go to the piece that you're cutting out, as opposed to this. But anyway, well, I guess what I could do is show you the techniques. Pliers. I'm going to spend more time looking for tools than I'm actually going to be making this video. Yeah. Pliers, where are you? Oh, this will work. Yeah. A little gaudy, but it'll work. This is what I use to clean up the edges. If you haven't gotten it perfect, you just zip down with that and kind of eye it. Although it's really better to clean it with a file, so you'll get a straighter edge. Anyways, I gotta set the camera here. Move that in a little closer. Alright, I will cut with this one and kind of show you guys how it works. That is way too high. Just kind of keep in line with this and you will do not too bad. It's better if you have something to like hold the actual plastic with, like a little vise or something. A little more speed than that. This cutter works for straight lines. You can't get much straighter in this. The only thing I don't like about it is that the plastic things get on both sides, so you're going to have to clean that up. However, little sand block or again with a file. Change out and show you the other cutter I use. Probably have some better cutters that I don't even know about. I'd love to invest in a laser cutter, but I can't drop that much money on something that doesn't exactly pay that well. Alright, that's the universal cutter, and the way I like to do that one is to... Normally, plastic comes out on this side, so... Start there. This one actually cuts a lot more without burning the plastic, so in that way it's good, but the downside is that if you don't have a real steady hand, you're going to end up with a crooked cut. Okay, that's pretty much the end result of that. You get your plastic bunched up on the left side, which ain't no thing to do that. Lastly, I don't know the technical name, but I just call it a little ball cutter. And of course I don't know what the hell I did with it. Larger one. Currently have plastic on it. It's alright. I don't plan on using it. Okay, with this one, the technique I found is that you just start out making your groove. And then, once you're done with that, you just kind of work it like that. It takes a lot longer, but I find for more intricate designs, it actually works pretty well. But, again, it takes forever. So, in order to make this video go faster, I'm just going to go with the spinning wheel. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this for you guys. When you're doing this, if you want to get it on a sharper edge, start from the middle over, and then once you get close, you can bring your backside towards the edge until it hits, just like that. And that's the first cut. are cut, so let's peel away the tape. Trying to see how it looks. Definitely needs some straightening, which you can tell right here it's fatter than it was there, but I think that was due to my impatient cutting due for the sake of the video. Normally I take a lot longer, but again, when that happens, what you can do, I believe this is called a barrel grinder, but I don't know. When you buy this, if you get the complete kit, it literally comes with everything. But give it a real light touch. It also helps clean off any little burrs that might be on there. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We'll leave it. That looks a little bit better, at least it does to me. Still kind of fat, but yeah. All right, since I got this on here, when you're doing plexiglass, I didn't realize I got too close to this thing right here. It's alright, we can work around it. When you're doing plexiglass, you want to make sure that your place that you're going to lay it down is clear. There's a couple different ways to do it, and normally you can just cut out your piece using this and then just measure out fatter, which we'll do that anyway. You can put it underneath, just use hot glue, it looks fine on the other side, or you can do this method that I've come up with, and that's put it on top with a tape, or what I'm actually going to do is make little screws that go in it to kind of hold it in place. I'll probably do tape and screws, but for keeping things short, we'll just do a quick underneath job. Alright, so here is a piece of plexi that I just happen to have laying around. It's kind of scuffed. Usually I'll clean it up. Oh, that sucked. Before I put it on there, I don't have time to really give it polishing. Does that look alright? And how I usually cut plexi and simple cuts is use a little table jigsaw, and the reason I do this is because it cuts better and it burns less. They have adjustable versions of this, but unfortunately this one is not. But anyway, simple way is to take your piece. You're gonna have to clean off the burrs. See it here's now. Alright. When you're cutting out your plexi, you want to make it about just a little bit wider than the actual piece you're using for a template. And I usually just measure up the corners semi-decent. Because the thing about the plexi most of the time is when you put it underneath, you won't notice the bit of extra. Because from the top, it'll look perfect. And you just want to kind of do that. Same thing, use some Scotch tape to make your lines, or duct tape if you prefer. That's a hard line. That's actually quite big, but it's alright because we'll cut it closer. Alright. This is basically what you're aiming for. Just a little bit fatter than the piece itself, so that way you have the ability to mount it. Giggity. Alright, so again, safety first. Plug this bad boy in. And let's make a cut. We don't need that. You definitely want to watch your fingers on this. Another thing is that the closer you can get it to the table that you're cutting, the more stable it'll be, because this sucker likes to jump. Now, instead of trying to get around the corner, especially if you're just doing a square window cut, what you can do is bring it out to the edge like we just did with our template. And, well, actually, you can switch the sides, or if it's more handy, you can actually flip it around. I have a bad habit of trying to do everything right-handed to where I can see it. I'm sure we're still getting this. Alright. And here we go. Here's the other thing I was talking about is whenever the stupid blade gets hot, it has a tendency to actually melt the plexiglass. I don't know how to avoid that other than just take a few minutes and just let it cool, but usually I'll zip through it and then just fatigue it off, And there is our piece of plexi. Use this to kind of take off any unwanted material. I got it fairly straight, but you can kind of see that it's just not absolutely perfect. And if that's what you're aiming for, to put it on top, you can get a sand block and some sandpaper. Just kind of work it back and forth. This is not an actual sand block, but it works pretty well. Most of you young fellows will know this motion. If you got coarser sandpaper, it goes pretty quick, but you get the general idea. That also kind of helps clean up the edge too. So, I'll turn this back around. There we go. Holy time lapse. My camera died. I decided to take a break, but I'm back, and to you, it will be like nothing ever happened. But anyway, let's get back to it. I got my piece cut, roughly cut. I do believe I showed you guys how to remedy that, which is your sandpaper. You can trim it up with your Dremel tool. There's a few different ways you can mount this. So I will show you all three, and I will kind of go through the process, the pros and cons and whatnot. The first one is hot glue. It's easy, it's forgiving. If you don't like it, you can most of the time take it off and redo it. The other one is you can use double-sided 3M tape, and it makes for a better finish, especially if you got the correct 1/8. I got stuff that's too wide. My personal favorite is to take a screw and physically drill a bigger hole through the plexiglass, and then drill just barely smaller into your machine that you're modding, and bolting it on. I think it makes for a unique look, and I've done it a couple times. But without further ado, let's go through the options. When you're hot gluing, obviously you need a hobby hot glue gun, glue sticks. There's really nothing complicated about this. If you're gonna do this, take the time and clean up the cut, because that'll be the more visible part. Make sure that everything fits. I had actually trimmed some of this, and I trimmed a groove in this, but the idea is to just put it in place. There's two ways. You can lay it down, or you can lay a bead down and then press on it. You got to be kind of quick, and a lot of the times the hot glue gets to the other side and you'll have to clean that up. What I typically do is just set it in place and bead the plexi and the case at about a 45. I think I'm actually needing another glue stick. And just run a bead all the way around as much as you can. And I'll go ahead and just tack it in place. Yeah, I totally need another glue stick. I don't want to do the whole thing because it's kind of messy. You gotta definitely have to watch yourself, but that's pretty much the end result. Again, if you got a straight, clean cut, it looks really good. That's what I've seen most people do. So let's move on to the next method. This one's a little more tricky. You can buy the 3M big rolls, double-sided tape off of eBay. It's way cheaper there than anywhere else. I'm actually going to cut a 1/8 line so that way it kind of looks better. I don't recommend doing this because I've sliced my hands open many times with the razor blade. I think that should do it. The razor blade's dull too, which kind of sucks. Alright. I find the best way is to just start. Make sure you lay it down in the correct position, and you want to lay the tape between that and your plexi. I find the best way is to just start at one end. Yeah, let's do it this way. Tape down. If you buy the correct stuff, it's easier because you can just unroll it and you still have your red side, which won't stick to you as you're putting it on. So you got that. You simply take a look at it. Stick it in place. It really helps if you get your two pieces closer together. It makes for a better finish. But also what I like to do, and I don't have it here, is to take a table grinder and 45 the edge of the plexi so that way it kind of looks smoother, and when you put the LEDs underneath, they'll glow right around the edge, and it makes for a good finish. Anyway, let me go ahead and peel this off real quick. Lastly, and not leastly, is the drilling your screw method. I don't believe that I actually have the correct drill bits. Actually, yes I do. Sweet. Alright. In doing this, you gotta have your larger bit and your smaller bit. Your smaller bit goes into the plastic of the case, so that way the screw actually has something to grip on as you're twisting it in. a lot of the times if you just get them the close size, not close enough, they'll twist right in, and it takes a little more time and a lot more patience and a good eye when you're doing this, because I don't know, I mean, you could do it like one in every corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could do it one corner and then one in the middle, or you could do it more symmetrical, like every inch if you can, spread the difference. And yeah, I mean, there's just all kinds of ways to do it. It also helps if you have a large amount of whatever screws you are going to use. So that'll work for that. The only other thing when drilling plexi is that if you get hot, your drill bit will actually get stuck in this. So when you're doing that, kind of keep that in mind and don't leave your drill bit in there, because it's a pain in the ass to get it out again. Let me bust out the old machine. Actually, I think there's a bit in there that should work. Yeah. And we'll just do the top corner for now. One thing I didn't think about, but you could actually do the double-sided tape underneath too if you don't want to mess with the hot glue gun. That would probably be a pretty good finish. But anyway, alright, basically what you're going to want to do, and I'm only going to do once, well, let's do every corner. Well, I say let's do every corner. Let me see how this looks. Yeah, we could do every corner. I'll have to trim this one. Alright, we'll do every corner. Bring it just a hair in towards the plexiglass, like enough to where you're not so close to the edge that it's just going to break. You definitely want to get a little meat on there. Make sure your screw goes all the way through. Screw is through, and that also, when you are doing this, make sure that your screw is not so long that it's actually gonna protrude into your console or whichever case you're modding and get into wires, or it'll stick up, a little funny. Just make sure you got the correct length screws. So far so good. Let's do every corner like I was saying. I'll do one here. I'll do one here. Ouch. Drill bit's already hot. No, get on there. Oh, I'm gonna have to trim this, so it kind of helps if you check your mark size you're going, because I actually made this one too far in, but that's alright. So what I'll probably do is actually make another piece. Okay, let me kind of scratch me a little mark where that one needs to go. The real trick to all this is taking your time. And I'm sure most of you by now are probably like, oh my god, this guy literally has no idea what he's doing. Alright, got your holes made. Take a little something and clean them up. Of course, I ain't got nothing. Yeah, just kind of take the burr off. Dude, I can't believe I lost that razor already. Alright, switch to your smaller bit now. Make sure you place it where you would like. Ugh. Yeah, that looks terrible. Actually, okay. It's alright. Okay, start with one. Take it, clean out your deal. And go ahead and pop one in. And you see how that the hole slightly smaller. It screws right into place. Okay. So go ahead and do that one and this one. Sorry. Yeah, that one's bird for sure. Okay, take your screws. And you can see where I missed that, but for the sake of making it look better, you can just put one in there. It's actually hitting the side of the plastic, so in reality it's actually working, other than the fact that if you get to looking at it close, it's going to be obvious that it's not right, but it's actually closing the gap. Kind of check around, and there you go. Definitely not my best work, but I hope you guys have all learned something. I know this video went on for way too long, but I kind of wanted to go through the process and show you guys how it's done. If you have any questions or comments, or got any ideas on how I can do this better, let me know, send me a message. I'm not always doing this, but every once in a while I get free time and I have the ability to do some projects. Also, give a big hand for my personal assistant who held the camera for the entire video. Say hi. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this uploaded. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned something, and I will have more tutorials up soon, and this will probably be cleaned up, I'm sure, by then. Alright, peace.